Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Serenity Resource Connector, brought to you by Serenity Advisory Consulting Services in partnership with Cousins Construction Services, Sha-Gore Aggregates Limited, and National Self-Serve Wholesale. Joining us this week is Pauline Lewis, Business Development Officer from the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, more popularly known as the JBDC. And Pauline will be sharing with us some of the things to consider before starting a business. Pauline, welcome to the Serenity Resource Connector. Let's go ahead and unmute.
Thank you so much, Ms. Witter. Thank you for having me this afternoon. And it is a pleasure to be on representing my organization, the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, otherwise known as JBDC.
Awesome. And JBDC, you say you help them from conception,
Concept to market.
concept.
Concept to market.
All right. So this week we'll be focusing on concept. Don't get to market as yet because
No.
sometimes we tend to put the cart before the horse. So we want to ensure that if you're looking to get started in business, you know someone who's looking to get started in business, be sure to share this episode with them so that they understand the importance of building a solid foundation so that you can build sustainable businesses because the failure rate for businesses remain the same, very high. But if you follow the guidance that you'll be receiving, then you'll be in a better position. And JBDC will be there to guide you along the journey.
Definitely.
Right. So, Ms. Lewis, what's the first thing that you have to share? Someone just looking to get started in business. Sometimes they are, I know you'll work with a lot of creatives, some people who might be very creative, but they do not have the business know how. Tell us, where do
Well,
they start?
okay, I have a presentation to share, but I'll just say the first thing, it has to be a business idea. That's the first step. You must have an idea, else you cannot go anywhere without an idea. So that's where it starts.
All right. You can go right ahead and share your presentation.
Certainly.
Right. You should be able to share. So we start getting the information out, starting from the idea, that seed. You have to sow that seed first.
Definitely. Okay.
Thank you for joining us. And don't forget to share this episode, especially for those who are looking to get started in business, or maybe they are already started just on the cusp and just need this extra guidance as to what exactly to do. And we will be having a series of virtual handholding going forward as we connect you with the resources and the information you need to get started right. All right. Are you seeing the share
Okay.
option?
I am seeing your browser is having trouble sharing your video. I am not sure what's happening.
Oh,
Okay. Let me try one more time.
okay.
Okay. Okay, share screen.
Right. While we get that sorted out,
Okay.
let's go to a commercial break.
Oh,
There we go.
So, as I'm saying, we work with a business development corporation, and it's time to plan.
You're a bit
So,
low,
okay, is that much better?
a little better. Go ahead.
Okay, so it's time to plan. So let us put on our planning schemes or thinking cap and let's go. Steps to start, steps to starting a sustainable business. So if you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to help build yours or help build theirs. All right? So we don't want that to happen, so we are going to build our own dreams. JBDC, the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, provides business services to entrepreneurs at every stage of organizational growth, from idea to development to exit strategy. And remember, we say our motto is from concept to market. So we take you right through until you start producing. That's what we offer at JBDC. So for this session, at the end, you're supposed to have achieved in terms of this session to explain the concept of entrepreneurship, identify what to consider before starting a business, listing of steps to start up your business, identify the roles JBDC plays in assisting our entrepreneurs. That's where we come in. Identifying other supporting entities that are available to assist entrepreneurs. So we're not the only person out there, but it's a whole team of us that helps our entrepreneurs. So let us look at a snapshot of entrepreneurship. If we look at the concept of entrepreneurship is the ability and the readiness to develop, organize, and run a business enterprise along with any of its uncertainties in order to make a profit. Because we know the main purpose of going in business is to make a profit. That's the whole end result. But before we reach a profit stage, we have to make sure the readiness is there for development. We are organized and we get things going so we can achieve our main objective to make a profit. The most prominent example of entrepreneurship is the starting of new businesses. And that's where I come in this evening to assist you in starting new business and what we should look for in starting new business. Just to take a peek of some successful entrepreneurs before I get into the meat of everything. We're all familiar with Bill Gates. We're all familiar with Microsoft. Microsoft that was established in 1979. So we have Bill Gates and Paul Allen. But let us turn the camera on Jamaica and let us look at just two of the many entrepreneurs that JBDC have assisted from concept to market. And Fraser, we have a Fraser symmetric Jamaica. That's Headley Fraser produces pieces in terms of cups and plates. All right, and we have Journey's End Wines, who are wine producers, and I'm sure this name maybe ring a bell. And this is owned by Cedric Thompson. He's a new owner, but the original owner, I remember he's saying, and this was published in one of our observers. His quote is, "What are people buying and who will buy it?" So that's the question he's asking before he starts his business. What are people buying and who will buy his wines? So that was one of the main things that started journeys in wines. Okay, and I'm sure, Miss Witter, we can think of many other entrepreneurs. Any comes to mind? These are the ones for us that I picked out among our list. Anyone comes to mind of any entrepreneurs you can think of?
Oh yes, I can think of
I'm picking
a
your
number
brain
of
now.
them. I know I know of FHL Designs, I believe, is one of JBDC clients. I've worked with them
Definitely,
before as well, and a number of others because I know that there are a lot in all the parishes, and we have even non-governmental organizations that I know would have benefited from the JBDC support.
definitely.
Yes.
And I'm familiar with that name too. I
Yes.
We have been in contact, and
Okay.
she's doing an awesome job. I'm telling you,
Oh
and
yes.
very awesome. And her business is growing. She's a client of ours. All right, what to consider before starting a business? I remember when we started, I said have a business idea, and that's the first thing. Next, gaining the required knowledge of or expertise, exploring the market or demand for your product or service. Estimate your startup cost because we cannot go in business without considering what it is going to take financially or monetarily to get the business going. Yes, have the idea, but it's going to take money to get it going in addition to your
That's
idea.
right.
Right. Determine your funding options. How am I going to cover my costs? What are the options? And we're going to look at these in more detail. Research your competitors, engage a mentor, or get expert help. Okay. The first one, where does a business idea come from? Where does a business idea come from? Because if you are thinking of starting up a business, where do I start? Where does the idea come from? You can pull idea from solving a problem or identifying a need in the market out there. Look out, see what is the need, where there's lacking, there is a problem. Okay, what can I do to solve the problem? I can provide this particular service. I can provide this, or I can create or manufacture this product to solve that problem. Your passion. Sometimes you have a passion. I have a client, she does crochet, and she crochets extremely fast. And that's a passion. And that is also a part of her culture. And because of it, she has turned her passion into a business. A
Okay.
gap in a gap in the market. You go and you find, I mean, there is a gap, there's a loophole. How can I fill that gap? By offering a service, by starting a business. And the light bulb goes off. So you
That's
know
right.
what it is. Oh, right. You will come up with an idea to start your business. You realize that yours is a family business. I have a client. Their family business is restaurant business. I know our parents are elderly, up in age. She's running the business. She's running the restaurant business. But you know what she have started with the restaurant business? She have started a natural juice.
Oh
So
yes.
right. So you see, she has seen a gap and she has expanded what her parents started on. So those are ways of getting business idea.
Okay.
What do I have available that I can work with? What if I switch and look biblically, you say, what do you have in your hand, Moses? Use what you have in your hand. You have a
That's
rod.
right.
Right? So whatever you have available. Okay, I have inherited 4 acres of land from my parents. That's what they left for me. I have that already. So that will my light bulb will go off. What can I do? Because that's what I have available. I don't need to purchase a piece of land. I have it. And now I can go in some farming. Okay. So those are some ways I'm pricking your brain just to give you an idea how you can come up with a business idea. All right.
Or, or if you're not into farming, you can partner with one of the different entities to lease your land out. That's another revenue generating entity right there.
Definitely. You can even sublet the land and sell them up for housing, depending on where the land is located,
That's
right?
right.
So you can do apartments, so that will turn over, generate. So there are different things you can come up with. All right, so let us go on. You're talking about gaining the required knowledge, skill, or expertise. This can be formal or informal training. You can get it through research, your academics, what you have went to school and studied, from observation. Sometimes you are there as a young man in the community, prominent mechanic, and you're around and you just go to the mechanic shop and you're there. You eventually learn how to repair vehicles. It can be from a talent. I have a client, and she went to school and did music, and she did so well that now she it's not her era of university or tertiary level training, but yet still she's using that talent to start her own music business by teaching music. So you see,
That's
there's
right.
so many avenues, so
Oh,
many avenues,
yes.
so many avenues. All right. So we are going down nicely, exploring the market or demand for your product or service. So remember, it doesn't have to be a product, it can be a service. You offer service, you provide service. So some of the questions we can look at is there a demand or need for your product or service? Because now you're looking to see, where do you fit in the global economy out there, in the market out there. Is there a need or demand for your product or service? Will I need to create a market for my product or service? Sometimes we, the consumers, we don't see the need. But when you, the entrepreneur, come and you create that market, then we realize that yes, there is a need. So sometimes you may not see the market out there, but because of your business idea, you create that market. All right. Is the
Right.
market is the market saturated or undersupplied? So those are some of the questions. Based on the global trend, will my target increase or decline? So sometimes you're thinking of going, starting something, and when you look down the line or you do your research, you realize that in a few years it becomes obsolete, or there's no need for it anymore. So you can read. It is, as an entrepreneur, you have to read a lot. You have to research. You have to know what is happening out there. So you're thinking of an idea, you realize something is coming up, something is brewing. So it's on the increase. Okay, so this is what I can enter. This is the market I can enter, because 5 years, 10 years down the line, this is supposed to be a booming business based upon my research, based upon my reading, based upon the trend. So these are some of the things that we can, some of the questions that we can ask, or we can go out and research.
Right. We're still in the idea phase.
Still in the idea phase, still in the idea phase. Determine your, okay, before I go to determine, is estimate your startup cost. Remember, I say that all
Very,
ideas,
very important.
very important, very. I cannot overemphasize, because you have your business, there's always some costs are fixed. Some costs are minimal and some are exorbitant. All right. So
Right.
depending on the business you are entering. So some I have just list a few, and this doesn't apply to every business, but it applies generally. So depending on the business, you can easily pick out what would affect you. So we have research expenses, and that goes without saying. You're thinking of equipment, furniture, fittings, if that is needed based upon the business you have. Fees and registrations, you know that you have to business registration, you have to pay this fee, that fee. All right. Location, if it's a physical setup, land business building, or you have to rent a space, your inventory, if you're going to go in retailing or anything like that, inventory, advertising, one of the expenses that you need to put yourself out there, put your brand out there. So you have to think that, okay, I'm coming up with this idea. How are others, how is the market going to know about me? So I have to advertise. So it takes cash to advertise. Websites, because most now, because of the old pandemic, it has opened up this online platform more than ever before. People are doing business more online, more than the physical space. You're talking about supplies and raw material, utilities, payroll, professional consultants, insurance. These are some, and as I say, some of. And all what I've listed may not be applicable to you. And going in business, it is advisable that whatever your startup cost is, make sure, especially as it comes to your utility, Miss Twitter, and comes to your payroll, and if you're paying rent or if you're paying any subscription, make sure you have that at least 6 months. JBDC always encourage our entrepreneurs to have at least 6 months of this money, that just in case, because when you start up, it's not a guarantee that when you start up the first month, you will see a return on your investment or revenue will start to generate in your business, because you're a newcomer. You can generate revenue in the first month. I've seen it happen,
Right.
but you have to plan.
Yes, because a big part of this in working with a number of clients, getting started, and it's just usually about how much it is to register the business. But there are so many other expenses you have to think of, and you need to factor in, even if it is that you're going to be using your WhatsApp, you still have to pay for the service to use the WhatsApp to do the promotion. Wherever you're promoting, there's some costs associated with it. If you're going to have a flyer done to indicate that you're going to be starting a business coming soon, there's a cost associated with that. And another thing too, we'll get there. I don't know if you have it there, it's not there, but one of the things is that um, it's usually recommended that they start a business account to separate the personal from the business funds, and that's at a there's a minimum
There's a
balance that you
cost.
need to start with. So you need to put down all of that, and I think a number of entrepreneurs miss that part, and so when it gets to a certain stage, it's a back paddling to try and catch up, which is why this is so important.
Definitely, definitely, it is
Yes.
important. Okay, thank you. Let us go down to our next slide. And all right. So it's determine your funding options. Okay, I have my startup budget. I have my items. I have a cost, a value to it, but I have a total. How am I gonna fund this? Where am I gonna get the money from? So three of the main funding options are grants. And as you know, grants, I don't like to like the terminal, but we're Jamaicans, so I'll just repeat it. Free money. I don't like the term, but I'll repeat it. Maybe people understand, right? So it is you do not pay it back. So grants are given to persons or business to start, to help them along, to start, to expand, to start a project. So these are grants without paying back. Jamaica, in terms of the government, there are grants out there. Government, and you have private entities that offer grants. But one thing, Miss Rita, with the grants, you have to make sure that your business is in line. So you have to make sure you spoke about opening your
That's
own
it.
business bank account, streamlining your
Yeah.
business, your record keeping. Um, those are some of the things that these persons that give the grants look for. They're going to ask you what you're going to use the money for. you have to submit a projection. If you're already in business, those are for those who are expanding. You have to show some proof. So there's something to show to get that money, quote unquote free money. Of which I told you I don't like to use that term, but I'll use it. All right, we look at loans. It's really almost like the opposite of grants. You'll have to pay back. And as a
That's it.
startup, right? Let me stick a pin right there. When it comes on to loans, I will not, and JBDC, I can speak on behalf. We do not advise or we do not guide entrepreneurs to think of going into financial institutions to get loans when you're starting up your business. How am I going to get loan, Mrs. Lewis? Okay, friends, families. Go and borrow from friends and families. They're going to either give you at no interest rate or very little interest rate. If they're more lenient in paying back, so be careful. So I'd advise our startup. So when it comes on to loan, make sure you wait until expansion time that you think about the financial institutions. What do you say
Right.
about that, Miss Witter? Agree or don't agree?
Oh, that's I usually advise similarly. Do not venture that route because when you're just starting up, it's unpredictable in terms of what your earnings will be, and then even in terms of accessing the loans, it's going to be a challenge because you need to demonstrate your ability to repay the loan. And as a startup, there's very little information you will have at that stage. And so, as you recommend for expansion, because by then you would have a track record, maybe through your bank account in terms of the funds passing in and out, and then it'll be easier for you to actually establish that you have the ability to repay and continue to run your business while you're repaying.
Exactly. That is
Yes,
so true. But we're focusing on startups or before
the
you start
start
up,
right.
right? So that is a whole other series.
Oh
Or
yes,
we think about equity. This is the money that you are going to put in the business, and if you are not able to put in 100%, you can also get funding from an investor, a partner, somebody else who is interested in the business, who wants to maybe start a business similar, but didn't think that they would want to take the risk, but you were brave enough to take the risk. So they say, okay, all right, I have some money too. We'll put our monies together. So equity can be from the owner's perspective, 100%, or equity can be different percentage, whether it be 60/40, 50/50, and somebody is coming and invest in your business. So these are the main three funding options that we will introduce today to help you in terms of covering your startup cost. Okay? All
yes,
right. We're going to look at research your competitors and identify your top 10 competitors, analyze and compare your competitor content, look at their social media engagement, identify areas of improvement. You're going in business. And Miss Vita, you know that I have clients when they go in business, they think that their product is so unique that there
yes.
is no competitor. No, Mrs. Lewis, I have no competitors. No, I'm the only person that offers this. My question to you or my question to my client is, okay, they're not your competitors, but if I don't use your product, what is an alternative? It may not be the exact thing,
That's
but
it.
yet it's a good substitute.
Yes,
It's a good substitute for me to solve the problem. So there and then that company becomes a competitor, because if they're not using your product or they're not using your service, but yet still there's an alternative. The alternative may not be as good as yours or perfect as yours, but there is an alternative. So I say today, know your competitors. And when you are for your competitors, you always, you see my little man running, that's who our entrepreneur that we are speaking about today. We want to be ahead of our competitors. So we have to make sure we have a competitive advantage. So he has a competitive advantage. So identify your competitive advantage. What can I do much better than my competitors? So that becomes an advantage to to my business, to the industry. So I can push ahead of my competitors, and that's what you want as an entrepreneur, to be ahead of your competitors, especially if your industry is where there's free entry and free
Yes,
exit of business. You have to make sure that you have that edge for your business to be successful.
indeed.
All right, so we're going down. All right, so we have here engage a mentor. To reach your goal, here's my little man. To reach your goal, we need to engage a mentor. If I can refer to a client, because I have been in the business, being a business development officer of JBDC, I see or interface with different clients. I have a client, and I even asked if I could make mention of him, call him the name. He is HMH Farms. And when I speak to him, and he speaks so passionately about his mentor or his networking that he has in terms of his business, because he went into the farming business. He is really an IT person. He doesn't know anything about farming. He's in goat farming.
Right.
And when he started business, I mean, IT, computer decks, office, to be out there with goats and all of that. And when I spoke to him, and I was wondering how you get, oh, you know this business. Did he didn't go to school? And he spoke so highly of his mentor, and his mentor or his networking around his farm help him to reach where he is now. He's still young, just about 2 years, year, little over a year, going into 2 years. And I
Right.
mean, how far he is. He has over 50 goats, and he was so excited and he's so passionate about it. And it all goes back to and his mentor, the persons that are in his networking system that helps him. He can go to the farm, get ideas. The person give him some ideas how to do, how to operate, and that's how he has reached where he is. A lot of research, but the mentor he spoke, as I said, he spoke very early, so that is very important. Make sure you align yourself with persons within that industry so you can learn off and one off about whatever business you are entering in. Okay. All right. So that's, I think that takes care of each step that I identified. It's about seven. And there are many, but I mean, these are seven important ones that I think we should know or we should look at today to help our entrepreneurs before they really enter business. Okay.
Yes, the mentoring is very important because there are others who have walked that route before. And so once you're able to get that kind of guidance, if it is that you're going in, like you're saying, in terms of the goat rearing, how many goats do
Right.
I really need to start out with for it to be a sustainable business? How many bags of feeding do I need to actually have, and how often do I feed them so I don't overfeed or underfeed, and the security and all of that?
Okay.
Love
Thank you.
it.
um, you see, you spoke about feed a while ago, and I remember I spoke with him. I had a session with him earlier this week, And he said that his mentor told him that how many feed and what time to feed. And because he was just thinking, all right, the more he realized that when he gives the goats to feed, they would eat more and eat more. So he would just give them. But when he was told by the mentor, certain amount of feed at this stage, at that stage, at that stage. When they are this age, you don't need to give them no more. And he said he sat down. He said, Mrs. Lewis, sat down and calculated
That's
how much
it.
I could have saved on a monthly basis if I knew this information. And he said, and he started to pencil out. And he said, no, I am going to cut my cost of feed way above below 50%. He said he could have saved so much. When you said that feed, I remember the exact story that he
Oh,
spoke about. Oh my
yes.
God.
Yes.
About
Even
the, go
right.
ahead.
Evening starting this program, I had mentors because there I have Brandy that does she has oh, I don't know why I keep forgetting my girls weekly program on Friday. She has this really awesome program. I've never met Brandy in person. We're in a
Oh,
program, the Life Architect Society program together. And she was able to guide me in terms of what I need to get set up for this program. So even though we have the idea, it's always great to have someone who has been in that particular area because we'll never know everything.
never.
But that's why the network is so important.
Definitely.
Yes. And see,
And
Sophia saying that she likes the mentoring aspect of it. So
okay,
awesome.
definitely. And I'm telling you, Google and books and everything that won't tell you everything.
Oh no,
They won't tell you everything. Nope.
no,
Nope.
it's not the same. Not the same at
Exactly.
all.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Steps in business startup. So I'll just quickly go through this part. After you, so what I've just spoke about is before you decide to start. So now you are starting. So we looked at the idea stage. So it is idea generation. So it's idea from customers and users, marketing research, competitors, other markets, other markets, company people, middleman. Those are some of the things that comes out in the idea generation stage. Then you have the screening. You're going to look at your strengths, your weaknesses, how it fits with your objectives, market trends, your return. So you'll make a rough return on your investment. You will estimate. So you will have your idea generation and you have your screening. So we look at these pointers that falls under your screening. Then you have idea evaluation, the concept testing, reaction from customers, rough estimate of cost to sales and profits. So these fall under your idea generation. Then you're talking about development because you're already in business. Your research and
Right.
development, this should be continuous throughout your business. Because
Yeah.
if you can imagine, Miss Twitter, if this wasn't continuous and this pandemic steps in and you don't know what to do,
Chaotic.
oh yes, you don't know how to pivot, you don't know where to go because you didn't have your R&D in place. So this puts you in a little tight position. So as you develop, make sure you have your research and development. You develop a model of service or your prototype. Test your marketing mix. So you're talking about your product, your price, your place, your promotion, or you can think about your people, your process, your physical evidence. So these are some of the marketing mix. You look at revising plans as needs be, your return on investment estimate. Because when you are in business, some persons, Miss Rita, they're in business 10 years and they wrote a business plan when they started. And 10 years and they haven't done anything to the business plan.
That's it. The business plan needs to be revised periodically because the business is not at the same stage. Yes, I think a big part of it is that, especially for the micro and small businesses, uh, do not understand that the same areas that the big corporations have in terms of their legal team, accounting, and sales, marketing,
Mhm.
all of these things are still a part of your micro and small business. It's just on a smaller scale, and you might not be able to do it in house, but I leave that to you to share.
Okay, okay. All right. So business plan is a whole session by itself. I'm not
Yes.
even gonna touch on that one. But just one thing for the business plan, make sure that when you write your business plan, you update it as you go along in business because things will change. Industry trends will change. The pandemic will come up. Something will happen. So it is not static. Okay? Commercialization. Next point. Finalize product and marketing plan. Start production and marketing. Roll out in selected markets. Final return on investment estimated. So this is now that you are commercializing your product or your service offerings. All right. I can move on now, Miss Richard. We are good on that.
Certainly. Go
All
ahead.
right. So we're going to look at where do I come in? Where does JBDC comes in? So we're going to look quickly at that. So JBDC at a glance. The Jamaica Business Development Corporation is a government-owned limited liability company governed by a board of directors under the auspice of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The corporation was established in 2001 under the provision of the Companies Act. And if it is 2001, how old are we now?
2001.
Mhm.
How young are you?
Definitely.
20
Definitely.
years. 20 years young?
Okay. 20 years young. We are celebrating 20 years this year.
JBDC
And
20.
that is it. So we are 20 years old. We had our celebrations in July and all of that. So we are still celebrating. All right. So the JBDC has the responsibility to enable, facilitate, and support qualified members of the micro, small, and medium enterprises sectors. That is the MSMEs. So our name was
Who,
changed
who,
in
who are the
'08.
qualified? Who are the qualified? Quantify that part for us.
Okay. Support qualified members of
Yes.
if you are registered.
Okay. We want to make
Oh,
that clear.
right. So we assist if you are registered. If you come to us and you are not registered, we encourage you to register so you can benefit from the services that we offer. We do not work with any entrepreneur that has not registered their business. I am so sorry to say, but we are a government entity and we have to adhere by the policies and the regulation that governs the business sector. Okay? All
Okay.
right. Name changed in 2008 with addition of our incubator and resource center. We call it IRC. So we that was an addition in '08, and further down we'll talk about that. JBDC has over 100 employees and growing with 4 satellite offices, and we have 3 Things Jamaica stores across the island. You'll learn further as we go down about these. All right, so I'm going to look quickly at our strategic objectives. Make policy recommendations for the development of the business environment to encourage business growth, to ensure growth through assistance in the monetization of companies and developing innovative products and sectors. So, strengthening of existing businesses by providing hand holding and monitoring services And I play an integral part in this because I'm a business development officer to increase the awareness and the desire of the public for authentic Jamaican products. That's where our Things Jamaican store comes in. Facilitate improved market access for clients. That's where our marketing department comes in. Promotion of sustainable new businesses and industries. Build capacity of employees in line with other strategic objectives. So these are our objectives in a nutshell. And as we go down to our business model, and if you don't remember anything else from JBDC when I'm finished, it's concept to market. That's what we help you with. All right. So JBDC's approach to business development takes entrepreneurs from concept to market through a wide range of business development, technical assistance under a business incubation model. So you come in, you have your concept, your business idea, you enter, you are introduced to our business advisory services, and I work in this department, business advisory service. Then we'll make an assessment. We identify the gaps and the needs. So it's either we're going to put you to our technical services, that's our incubator, or we're going to put you to our financial support unit, or and you can go to both. And then after you are there and the gaps are identified and the gaps are filled and you are guided and assisted, then we go on to marketing, and then you are ready for market. That's why we say from concept to market. Anything on this one?
No, go right ahead.
Okay, core business. So I'm going to touch briefly on what we do. So we have our business advisory services, technical services, or incubator resource center, marketing services. That includes our Things Jamaica stores, and we have three. We have one at 14 Camp Road, we have at Norman Manley International Airport, and we have one at Devon House. And our financial support services. And our technical services is at 76 Marcus Garvey, and our business advisory service is at 12 to 14 Camp Road. So when you go to our technical services, we offer product design and development, business incubation management, plant and production engineering, food technology, customized hands-on workshops, prototype and product development, branding, fashion and graphic design, pattern making, packaging, and labeling services. So all these are offered at our incubator service or technical services. And we also offer rental if you, supposing you do drapes and you get an order and you don't have the industrial machines, you can come in, rent our facility. We have industrial machines. If you want to rent our food unit because you have an order and you don't have the facility, you can come in, rent our facility. So those are some of the offerings we have.
It's great.
Okay. IRC, we are still at IRC, physical facility. Just as I said, we have our resource center, we have fashion, agro, or food, craft, design, graphic and product engineering. You come in and you have made your sources and you need your labels. We have a graphic designer, design up your labels, design up your logos, tell you what are the things supposed to be on your labels. We have it right there. We have meeting rooms. So, Miss Rita, when you have your meeting, when we go back face to face and we don't need virtual, we are not using virtual at that time. And if you need a meeting location, we have meeting rooms that you
Where are
can.
they? Where are they located?
76 Marcus Garvey at our IRC location.
But all of us can't journey to Marcus Garvey. We need to expand to the rest of the island.
Okay, so remember we have all of that. We do have it available. So
Okay.
when you
That's great
decide
to
that,
know, though.
right, if
Yes.
you are not meeting virtually and you need a physical location, remember we have everything, We have everything and we think out of the box. All right, so we have our
Yes.
incubator where we have fashion, kitchen, and craft. Okay, so we
Okay.
have marketing, things Jamaican. This retail arm of JBDC focuses on the marketing, promoting, and retailing of locally made products through its specialty retail locations, each with its own concept, but all specializing in authentic Jamaican gifts and crafts made by local artisans. So if you need a place to start your marketing, we also have that. We have our Things Jamaican store. And nothing, as it says, Things Jamaican, nothing is sold there that is not made in Jamaica. And
Okay.
have you visited any of our locations yet, Miss Richard?
Oh, yes.
All
Devon, Devon
right, all
Woods.
right. All Jamaican, all Jamaican. Souvenirs, gift items, just about anything. So most of our entrepreneurs sometimes start there. All
Okay.
right.
So those who are in craft, once they become a part of the JBDC family, there that's an avenue for them to start their marketing.
Even journeys and wines, they are in Kings Jamaica too.
Okay.
Kings Jamaican store, right? Not just craft only. We have crafts, we have wines, we have even
Oh,
drops
yes.
and
Yes.
greater cake.
Confectioner. Yes.
Yes, and banana chips and tambourine balls.
Oh,
Okay, let
yes.
me go.
I sampled a
All
couple of those.
right, all right. We have our financial support services, and this falls under our business advisory. All right, where we provide support service to our MSMEs aimed at building their capacity and preparing them to more effectively and efficiently navigate the existing financial market. So we assist with research, training, financial hand holding, and I heard you talk about your business account, only having your own business account up to
Yes.
since this morning. One of my team member did a presentation on record keeping. So we are always having training, and we encourage persons as it relates to opening their own business bank account, separating their personal from their business finances. So we have financial handholding, access their readiness for finance, prepare them to access finance. So we help them in terms of helping them, showing them how to record, give them the different options of how to record, and helping them with their costing and pricing of their products.
Right.
And I could go on as it relates to the financial sector. And we also offer, assist with financing, tell you where you can get some grants when any grants or any where you can get some money comes up. We are the person that taps in and say, okay, you can go here, you can go there. DBJ has this Ignite grant coming up, Biggie grant coming up, DBJ vouchers coming up. We
Yes.
help you to streamline yourself for or to get or to access these grants. So we help you in that preparation. All right.
There's
Project
a
man,
there's a
go
question
ahead.
here before you go
Definitely,
on. All
definitely.
right. Sophia's asking, what about health and social care business settings? Do you cover these areas too?
No, not in our incubator. No, no, we does. No, we don't. But
Oh,
if whatever we don't, we ensure that we have external parties, external entities that we can refer you to. Because most times you get you will be, what I should I say? When you go out there, you tell them that you're a JBDC client. it speaks volume in some areas. You tell them that you're coming from JBDC, or you come and you're my client and I refer you, it makes a difference. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Project management and research department, identification of financial resources in local and international arenas for MSME development programs, project management, project proposal preparation, project administration, monitoring and evaluation. We help you along with these. Research and analysis used to inform projects and programs, preparation for JBDC reports, collaboration and dissemination of MSME sector and industry information. So that is our PMRD department. And I go down now to networking. So this may be some of the things we have been talking about as we go along. We also help you networking. Scientific Research Council, SRC, Bureau of Standards, Jamaica, BSJ, Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPRO, National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, Rural Agricultural Development Agency, RADA, Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JMEA, JAMPO, Trade and Investment, Jamaica. Those are some of who we network. That's our external network. And as entrepreneurs going out there, become familiar with these entities, with these names. You're starting a business, these external support plays an integral part in your business. You cannot not have them and know about them, what they offer. Where do I go to get this done and get that done? So you have to do your research and know where you can go to get these. All right. Going down, and we have TAJ. Some persons are scared, Miss Witty, of TAJ, but TAJ has evolved. I'm telling you.
Oh,
They
yes, they were on
are,
last week and we're
oh,
able to share from an educational perspective because I believe that starting from a place of understanding is important.
definitely.
Yes.
Companies Office of Jamaica, COJ, that's where you go to register your business, National Insurance Scheme, and National Housing Trust. These are some of the main ones. Okay, government regulations, laws, and we cannot do without that. Can we now? Definitely not. And I will look at being compliant means adhering to government regulations. There are various requirements needed when considering business startup. So you're starting up a business, please think about the government regulations. What are the policies? Am I supposed to be adhering to? I'm going in this. Where should I go to regulate my business? So we have Bureau of Standards certification, Ministry of Health certification, food handlers permit, and the Great Business Registration, COJ, where you may have to make sure that you register before coming to us. License and permits and JIPO registration. So these are some of the regulatory bodies that you need to consider as a startup.
And they are on the list of guests coming up, so you don't want to
Oh,
miss the upcoming episodes.
okay. So I am just a warm up. I am the trendsetter.
Laying the foundation.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. What to consider when starting a business? What product or service do you have to offer? Who will purchase your product or service? Where will your business be located? How much funding will you need? Who will manage the business? Who will be your competitors? What skills and other resources will you need? We have gone through them at the top, but I'm just cementing my presentation as looking back on all these, who will manage your business? How much funding will you need? Because a lot of time is with your persons have great business idea and they come up and it doesn't go anywhere because there's no funding. No plan was made for funding. They didn't have a clue as it relates to the funding options available to them. So this
Yes.
is very, very important.
Indeed. It's just like building a house. Have to
Foundation.
you have to yes, and you have to consider all how you're gonna put in the windows and all of that for you to get the complete house. So, but
That is
the
it.
right foundation is key.
Exactly.
Yes.
Checklist for starting up. And I've put together just 10 lists right here. Do your market research. Tick it off if you have done. Write your business plan. Register your business name. Obtain license and permits. Register trademarks and copyright. Apply for patents or patents. Some persons pronounce it like that. Opening a business bank account, right? Set up your record keeping system. And
Yes.
number 8 is so very important because you cannot go, and when I say record keeping system, I don't mean financial records only. There's
No.
so many records in business. As I said, that's another training. There's so many records in business, not just financial records, that you need to make sure that you have a system set up. All right. Write your business
And we have an
processes. Go
episode just for that
ahead.
because
Oh
it's
my.
so important.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, stick with this program, and I'm sure you cannot go wrong because Miss Twitter has everything in the bag, just ready to pick out. All right. Write your business processes, that is your operations
Imagine.
manual, and launch your business. So, we are basically almost at the end. Good timing. So, our contact information, JBC contacts or location, where our head office is at 1214 Camp Road, Kingston. Telephone number 876-928-51625. Things Jamaica at 14 Camp Road also. And we have Devon House, as I say, our Things Jamaican store, Devon House, shop 14 and 15. We are at Norman Man International Airport. 7A and B, shop 7A and B, our incubator resource center, Center 6 Marcus Garvey Drive, Marcus Garvey Drive, Kingston, and our numbers 758-396628. And we have our satellite offices in St. Thomas, St. James, Manchester, and Westmoreland. All right, I'll just leave that for a minute. So if you need any information, or you can just simply Google and you'll find our contact, our location, and our contact numbers. And we also have a YouTube channel. All right. So
Yes. All right. So okay. Before we thank you from the Serenity Resource Connector for this week, Sophia said thank you for answering our question. And I'm sure, Sophia, in terms of the areas you're looking at, those would probably come under the Ministry of Health and Wellness, but we'll get to
definitely.
that. Right. Anne Marie Golding McGregor says she's happy she made it to the session, albeit a little late, but not too late because she
Okay.
managed to put it in her question before we end. Is that the order in which we should do them in terms of the listing that you just shared as it relates to the business startup?
Okay. The checklist, or you want me
Yes.
to go back, or let me go
Right. So
back?
she wanted to find out if that's the order that she needs to go about checking off.
Yes, it is the basic order. Sometimes persons may interchange a 5 with a 6, but when you're starting up, it is advisable because you have to do your research, and that's where your business idea comes in. Then you have to
Yes.
plan, Register your business, because you have to know, when your market research will tell you that is this business feasible or not, or it's just a passion. Because as I say, we have people coming to me, and their business, it cannot, their passion cannot be converted into a business.
Yeah,
And sometimes
passion
it is
will. Yes,
sometimes it is hard, it hurts my heart to try
yeah,
to show them that, but sometimes it is not. 90 odd percent of the time it is. 95% it is, or more. Very rare you'll find it like that. That their passion cannot be converted into a business. But it happens
yes,
on a very small percentage.
right. All right. Anne Marie saying that she was looking more at number 8, which is setting up the record keeping
Right?
system. Anne Marie, I'm not. Are you asking if that's where number 8 would fall? Were you thinking of number 8, number 9 before 8? Can you share if you're thinking of a number 9 before 8? What were you thinking? Because setting up your record keeping is important at the initial stage. Or what we can do, you can
You could,
when you get to the record, setting up the record keeping, that's episode, then you'll understand why it falls here on the list. So stick with us. 8 before 6. 6 is apply for, oh
patent,
no, yeah, applying for the patent.
patent.
No, no, you'll need your, before you get to the record keeping phase. You can go ahead and respond, Miss
Oh,
Lewis.
all right. Okay. As it relates to your record keeping system, yes, it can fall up a little more. And most of this checklist, I would say you can tweak it based on the type of business you are operating. So it is not laid down in stone, it's just a guide. But sometimes, depending on the business you are operating, you need to push up record keeping maybe up a little more.
Yes,
Because
from yes.
so the type of business makes a difference in the order in which you will do your checklist.
Yes. I see what Anne Marie is saying, because from the very onset, you really need to start keeping your record and put the proper filing away in terms of your research, how you're going to store. So it's basically an ongoing process.
Yes, it is.
So, right, maybe that's what. And then a number of people don't really consider in terms of the patent earlier up, depending on what area that they're in. And in terms of the, and then based on the area of business that you're in too, the licensing and registration might need to come before you actually register with the company's office. So it depends on the nature of the business, as Miss Lewis said.
Right.
All right. These are going to be some very interesting weeks. Stick with us here on the Serenity Resource Connector as we continue to provide you with some virtual hand holding as you venture into starting your business. And also for those who are already in business, we'll be going into how you can improve on what you currently have. And then there are a number of persons in business who are not yet formalized. So we want to guide you as well so that you can get the support from JBDC, because if you go back, you'll realize that JBDC will
Mhm.
not be able to work with you if you do not have a registered business. Right?
Definitely.
Yes. You are so welcome, Anne Marie. Anne Marie's thanking us. Really appreciate this session. Okay, and she's not planning to miss the future sessions. Awesome.
Okay.
Right. The beauty about this platform is that you can go back and check through the listings, and you can use it as your guide, because you can go through it in your own time to see the different areas, and then there are gonna be a lot more coming up, and we're gonna have JBDC on again as Miss Lewis outlined, they provide a whole lot of services there at JBDC, and they cover a wide cross section of of the industries. So we'll be able to get that information. You're welcome, Sophia. Yes, and for the other areas, as the other guests comes in, they'll be able to provide you with information on where exactly you can go to get certain level of support. That is why we're called the Serenity Resource Connector.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Lewis. It
You
was
are
a pleasure
welcome.
sharing space with you and looking forward to more of these engagements with the JBDC team. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for having me
Yes.
representing my organization, the Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, and it was a pleasure being online today. And I hope what I've said will be of help to our entrepreneurs, our budding entrepreneurs, and our entrepreneurs that are already in business. Thank
Oh,
you.
thank you too. Yes. And I cannot go without pointing out, I was sharing earlier in terms of mentor for in putting this program together. Brandy is the host of the Spoken Truth Talk Show, goes live on YouTube. I believe it's 6 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. And you all need to go check it out to see why Brandy was an awesome mentor when it comes on to putting this program together on this platform. And we ought, and just like Miss Lewis shared, that her client speaks so highly of her of his mentor. I
Yep.
have to say thank you so much to Brandy and the many others who helped to make this program a reality, where we can provide this kind of virtual education in the different areas. Thank
That's
you again
right.
for joining us, whether you're joining live or you're watching the replay. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and please share the information. And we'll see you same time, same connection next week as we go into another area of this virtual hand holding. And we're going to be looking at those licenses and those other regulations, not all of them, because we have to take them in bite sizes come next week. So stay tuned, join us again, and do continue to stay safe. God bless.
God bless. Thank you.
Okay, let's take it out.